All right, we're going to simplify this radical, and it is a square root. It's a negative square root, right? There's a negative sign out there, and this negative sign really doesn't have anything to do with the radical. It's just going to keep dropping down, and our answer in the end will be negative. And I have 80, a to the 10th, b to the 13th. And I'm going to separate these three. Because they're multiplied, I can separate them into separate radicals. Negative 80 times negative square root of 80 times the square root of a to the 10th times the square root of b to the 13th. Now, I do that so I can look at them differently. I'm going to look at the number first, the square root of 80. So I'm going to pull up my square root chart. Let me get it up here. There it is. And I'm going to look at my squares. Okay, so starting with, I don't know, the square root of 81 is 9. That's too big. 80 is not up here. 64 does not go into 80. 49 does not go into 80. 36 does not divide into 80. 25 does not. Now, 16 does divide into 80 5 times. You might also notice that 4 divides into 80, but 4 also goes into 16. So if you used 4, you'd get 4 and 20. 20 has a 4 and a 5. So you'd still have your two 4s, which is 16. Okay, so I am going to split up the square root of 80, and I'm going to call it the square root of 16. 16 times what gives you 80? 16 times 5. Now I know what the square root of 16 is. It's just 4. So I have negative 4 square root of 5. So my first part, that's how I simplify it. Now let's look at the square root of a to the 10th. And you're asking yourself, how many pairs of 2 do I have inside to get 1 outside? All right, and I like to do this the long way. All right, you probably realize that it's going to be 5 pairs, but the long way makes sense to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 a's under the radical. Since it is a square root, I need a group of 2 outside to give me a group of 2 inside to give me 1 outside. So how many groups of 2 do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 groups of A inside is going to give me 5 A's outside. All right, let me move that over here. It should really be underneath. And then let's look at b to the 13th. Okay, so once again, I'm going to write my radical, and I'm going to do it the long way. I'm going to write out 13 b's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 b's. Since this is a square root, once again, I'm looking for a group of 2 inside to give me 1 outside. So that's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4, 5, 6 groups inside. So that will give me 6 b's on the outside of the radical. But then very important to notice that there's 1 b left over that I cannot take out. He's still trapped under the radical. I need 2 underneath to get 1 out, and this guy is all by himself. Okay, so I have simplified all 3 of these portions differently, and now let's put it all together in the answer. I have a negative, right, that drops down here. On the outside, I'm going to have a 4. I'm going to have a to the 5th, and I'm going to have b to the 6th. Okay, those are all multiplied. And then underneath the radical, I'm going to have this 5 and this b. Okay, and they will go back together underneath one radical. And that's it. Okay, so I treated this like 3 different parts, one with a number and the 2 variables that have different exponents.